This is Francine Reed, and you lucky people are listening to Blues America. Blues America.
You know I'm a howling wolf, and I've been howling all around you, girl. You know I'm a howling wolf, and I've been howling all around you, girl. And you won't help me howl no more. You know when I get to howling, I dig me a hole down in the ground. Well, you know when I get to howling, I go dig a hole down in the ground. Some people call me a Black Panther, but my baby, she knows the way I sound. You know I done howled so long. You know it made my tonsil sore. If you give me what I want, little girl, then you won't help me howling no more. Well, when I get to howling, you know they call me Pooh Bear Jim. Well, when I get to howling, you know they call me Pooh Bear get so mad. And I'll be jumping from limb to limb.
We're gonna wang dang doodle all night long, baby. It's Blues America right now.
The blues is a feeling. The blues is life. The blues is stories and legend. The blues is the heart and soul of America. It is our history and national standard. Everything started from the blues. It's time now for Blues America. Blues America. Broadcasting coast to coast. Let's talk about the blues, shall we?
Well, the eldest son of the great Muddy Waters, Mud Morganfield, is joining me today. We'll talk about his experience growing up in Chicago surrounded by the greatest players in the blues and to a legendary father, and how that connection has influenced his music. The similarities in his commanding vocals with that of his father is, well, almost uncanny. Except to his credit, he's not trying to be Muddy Waters. He's risen in the spotlight in his own right, and this is certainly evident in his fourth studio effort, They Call Me Mud, which showcases his different music taste and features a handful of notable players like Billy Branch and Mike Wheeler. We'll take a listen to this album and talk about it during our blues conversation. The great Mud Morganfield, my special guest today, coming up in just a few minutes. Well, thanks for joining me today, and welcome all you dedicated blues heads to your slow-cooked barbecue Smothered Blues series. From coast to coast, Canada, and worldwide on the web, this is Blues America. I'm your humble host, the guy behind the blues, Drew Verbis, and I'm so honored to be your designated driver of the airwaves as we keep the blues alive. Well, I kicked off the show today with some beautiful down-home blues by today's special guest. It's none other than the great Mud Morganfield with The Howlin' Wolf. Now, of course, that's from the new album. Also today, new blues by Breezy Rodeo, Blues at the Break with Willie Jackson, the Blues People soundbite with the voice of the late great Muddy Waters, and the Way Way Back Blues with Tampa Red. All of that and more today on Blues America. Mud Morganfield is coming up next.
Blues America is heard on the Pacifica Network and Public Radio Exchange. Blues America is recorded and produced at the Chico Chisholm Memorial Studio.
It's Chico Chisholm, the blues man.
Hi, this is Ronnie Baker Brooks. You're listening to my man Drew on Blues America. Let's keep these blues alive, y'all.
48 days since you've been gone. Please come back home. Hey, 48 days since you've been gone. Will you please come back home?
All right, we're live with today's special guest. It's the great Mud Morganfield. Hey, man, how we doing today?
Hey, Drew, how are you?
I'm great because I'm talking to you and I'm ready to ask some questions.
As long as you don't ask about my old lady and my wife, we all right. Don't you ask about them too, Drew.
Okay, you got a deal. Well, congratulations on your fourth studio album. It's titled They Call Me Mud. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But first, I know the listeners want to know, what is it like being the son of Muddy Waters, an American icon?
It's amazing, man. That being the son of Muddy Waters, man, I didn't know the concept of that at a younger age. because I come up in a different era. You know, Dad and Willie Big Eyes Smith and Pine Top, those and Hollywood is that those guys were from the South and doing some really hard times, man. So, but to me, they were just some old guys playing guitars. I had no idea of the impact that they were having on music and blues. So it was just, I was just the son, you know, he was the dad. I saw very little of him. He was always gone, you know, and I didn't even get a chance to really play ball with him and stuff like that, but he was always on the run, man. He always took care of his kids, man. So I have to say that.
Well, good. Now, you didn't exactly follow in his footsteps. This music journey of yours started later.
Yeah.
Do you think this was meant to be?
You know, I kind of think that. I mean, because I used to have these things about Dad performing, and he would never say anything to me. But I used to always be at his concerts. And for a while, man, right before I started his career, man, and I kind of took that as a sign for me to pursue something that he spent his entire life doing. I thought he was tapping on my mom's stomach, man. And I can't tell you the times that my grandmother, who's a Louisiana woman, and my mom and them scorned me, man, from beating on stuff. I mean, as a kid, with spoons, tree sticks, anything I can, man. I've always had these music notes running through my head, man. I couldn't get rid of them. I ran for a long time, and I just gave in, man. It was my calling. I was born to play music, man. I have to put it like that because, again, Drew, you know, I come out of a different area than Dad. They were in the South in these little sheds, and they were in the cotton fields of Mississippi, and down in all those southern states, man. And, you know, and I was fortunate enough to come up in the Motown era where, I mean, things wasn't as best, but it wasn't as worse either, you know what I mean, Drew? So I got a taste of a different music, you know. After all, that is the daddy and I am the son. So two different eras, man, and I thank God they could for it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, where does all your inspiration come from?
You know, I tell you, I don't want to push my religions on anybody, but, you know, it was God, man, who was the head of my life, man. It is God who has me on this phone able to speak to you about blues and my dad in general. You know, it was born in me. It was instilled in me. It was passed down to me. So, I mean, again, you know, I've always had music running around in me. So, you know, I didn't really get a whole lot from Dad and them about, you know, that kind of stuff. I just knew it was there, and I had to let it out, and here I am.
Yeah. Well, Mud, thanks for letting me ask you some personal questions. Obviously, you are not Muddy Waters, and you're not trying to be Muddy Waters. You're a blues star of your own making, and this is reflected in your new album, your fourth studio release, They Call Me Mud.
Oh, it's a fantastic album, man. I think it's a buffet. My dad's last guitar player, who's also playing on the album, Rick Crair, he called it a buffet because there's something for everybody in there, man. You got some funk blues, you got some rhythm and blues, you got some soul, you got some dirty, low-down Chicago blues like Howlin' Wolf, my dad recorded, and I mean, you got some good stuff on it, man. You even got to imagine this. We even got a little jazz on there, track 12. You know what I'm talking about, Joe. It's called Mud Crew, and featuring the legendary Billy Bradshaw on harp. It's just all instrument, man. I mean, it's so laid back, relaxed. I think they're going to really enjoy this album because there's a lot of things to pick from.
Oh, for sure. Maybe we can talk about some of the material, including the title track, They Call Me Mud.
Yeah, but, well, I mean, we took a couple of people, including Dave Earl of Severn Records, to title that song, They Call Me Mud. You know, it's kind of like an introduction because, you know, what I do, Drew, I am just, you know, listen, I owe so much to God, my dad, and mom.